What do you think about the fight, man? What do you think about Tank Davis? You saw this one coming, or did he surprise you?
All right, so with an opponent like Frank Martin, I suspected he was going to have a lot of success in the early rounds, but I thought it was just going to be a matter of time, to be honest. I mean, Tank's pressure is just different, and Frank has never had to deal with someone like Tank. Tank does throw, he has a low output volume, but come on, man. Like, we've seen it a million times at this point. People have success against Tank, they start getting tired, and then he started landing on the pressure. I felt like it was textbook, but I felt like it was going to be entertaining for as long as it lasted. And I like how Frank he banged with Tank a little bit. He used some great boxing ability to get his shots off, and I feel like that's what made it worth the watch compared to a lot of Tank's other opponents. It was a bit more competitive in the beginning, but he just eventually got him, man. And then history's history now.
Yeah, and exactly what you said. And I think this was like the first time we've seen this polished of a Tank. Where I mean, he just came in and those punches looked like the Hulk, man. I mean, he was swinging some overhands that were crazy. Johnny Boy, what do you think about Tank's performance, man?
I think it was predictable. I thought that we were going to see him give up the early rounds. But if you remember when Coach Calvin told him, listen, we need all these rounds now, he really emphasized that, we're down on the scorecards. And then as soon as he said that, Tank just stepped into high gear. And then he started hunting and chasing him down, cutting off the ring. And then the only mistake that Frank made was just trying to play rope-a-dope and waiting for the shot to try to catch it instead of tangling him up and frustrating him like Shakur would do if they face each other.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just think that, Tank is a brilliant fighter. I think he has phenomenal speed. And if he would let his hands go, he could finish these fights in 3-4 rounds. But it's just,
Frank,
and he
Frank,
said
that what you said when you called me, Frank. 4 rounds.
Yeah, and he said that he was trying to get Frank tired. I don't know how tired Frank really got because I think it would have been, like you said, the same thing even in the beginning rounds if Tank would have just turned it on. Because Frank was in that corner scared, man. I mean, he was flinching, scared of Tank throwing the punches before Tank even threw it. But Justin, what do you think? Hold on.
Wait,
do
but
you
when
think?
he said tire him out, I don't think he necessarily means like gas him. I just think he means drain his energy from where he started at. Because like the way all Tank's fight looks, it makes you like question it in the beginning just because he's not throwing a lot and he's not as aggressive. And Frank did a better job than most do, kind of make it difficult on Tank. I feel like Tank was looking to counter and Frank would kind of like throw in between and kind of like try and mess up the timing and stuff. But once Tank actually started to rush him and like be aggressive, you saw that he was gonna knock him out eventually.
Yeah, and I think since the beginning, I mean, I don't know how long it took for Frank to already be in the corner. What was it, like 20 seconds in the first round for him to already back up and be in the corner that quick?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could see it from there that he was going to get knocked out.
He was also trying to counter him, which isn't a good idea, like going like back and forth with Tank with that. But you could see Frank was also looking to like counter at certain points.
Yeah. And Keizo, what do you think? Was this more about how good Tank is or how bad Frank was?
Neither. I feel like it's a typical Tank fight. We saw that. The live reaction from me really speaks volume because Frank could have if Frank would have kept boxing the way he was in the first, if he would have fought Tank more in the circle instead of just like moving and fighting on the edges and in the corners, like Frank really could have pulled out a UD or a SD boxing like that. But like most people say that like that's not the brand of boxing we don't want to see with the Tio and the Jermaine Ortiz fights. Like fighting, jabbing. Like I don't want to say like an Ali way, but more such like an Ali way of fighting. That's people say y'all are entertainers, which I really don't fucking get. Like we in there trying to kill each other, not fucking entertain you guys. Like it's a blood sport, not necessarily entertainment for you niggas. But like, yeah, it's just typical Tank fight, really. Live reaction, I was saying it's just like Hector Garcia because it really was to me. We saw Hector Garcia win like the first 3 to 4 rounds, and then Tank just turned it on.
Yeah, similar result. Oh, and I forgot to put this up. My bad. But there we go at the bottom of the screen so they can read what we're on. So yeah, Gervonta Davis. I think it was definitely more about Tank being good, man. In my opinion, than Frank being bad. I don't think Frank did bad. He was just never like once Tank turns it on. I think he can do that against anyone, man. Even I gotta say against Shakur. But let's ask Blueprint. Blueprint, do you think after that performance
Roy.
he has or Roy after that performance, do you think he has a good shot against Shakur?
Yeah, I think so, man. I think Tank is man, it's just an A+ fighter versus an A+ fighter. So I mean, Tank got the fucking power, so he could catch Shakur, man, if he makes a mistake. And I mean, Shakur rarely makes mistakes, but how many fighters has he fought on Tank's level? So that's the question we're really asking. Shit, dude.
Yeah, but who has Tank
That's just
fought
the
on
fight that I
Shakur's
really want to
level?
see.
Who
Yeah,
has
you
Tank
see
fought
that
on
Well,
both
Shakur's
ways,
level?
but
that is the same thing, man. But
yeah, vice versa.
fuck, I don't really know, bro. That's a fight that I mean, I like to argue with people and shit, but that's a fight that it's a really 50-50 fight, man. You can't really say, who's gonna fucking beat up who, man.
Yeah, the only thing I think about that
That's gonna be a
fight,
sweet science fight, man.
yeah, and the only thing I think about that fight is, I think Tank can do like at least 70% of what Shakur's good at. Shakur, like Tank's best thing is power. Shakur's not getting close to that power. You know what I mean?